Let's try to wake up to a greater reality. To bring about, I indicate when I talk about Black children and why I talk about a psychology of the Black child. I mentioned the fact, as I mentioned earlier, that the history of Black people are different, therefore the psychology of Black people is different. Consequently, if you're going to understand the psychology of Black children, you have to understand the history of Black people. And therefore, as I stated to you earlier, you cannot go into European psychology to deal with the psychology of Black children. That's one reason why I wrote the developmental psychology of the Black child. The other reason, of course, was the fact that the Black child's body is not a duplicate of the European child's body. We are not colored people who are merely different according to the color of our skin. It's more to it than that, ladies and gentlemen. Your children represent the oldest race on this earth, the mother and father of all other of the races. They represent, as I told you earlier, that total history of their bodies as such. So they are not duplicates of white children. Under other circumstances, I pointed out how they're born intellectually more advanced than is the white child. They do things on their first day of life, the second day of life, that it takes a white child 6 or more months to do. They come out with the brain that, if you test it through EEG and other methods, demonstrates very clearly that they're more intellectually advanced than those of white children. You must understand, history is not merely something that happens to people, it becomes a total part of their body and their existence. And you must understand that history to understand your children. And it's the failure to understand that. I also demonstrate that history is not something that just occurs. We must study psychohistory. That is the psychological results of undergoing historical experiences. And to a very great extent, the problem with the education of Black children, the crack epidemic, and all of these other things we complain about day in and day out are the result of a psychology that flows from a particular type of historical experience. You have a school system that is based upon the psychology of white children and white people. And you're trying then to educate your children on the basis of that system. They are bound to fail. The very structure of this college itself is based upon a white model, and therefore it has a built-in failure mechanism for you, one way or the other. Because you don't understand that your historical experience has changed the very way you think. Your very style of thinking, your very style of learning, your very style of relating one to the other has been transformed by your historical experience. Must understand. When you go into your psychology classes, you must understand that in order for the European to maintain his rulership over the world, even though he's 10% of the world's population, he must keep Black people in a particular state of mind. It is necessary that you be backwards. It is necessary that this room be as sparsely attended today as it is with the college of the South. You must avoid things that have some meaning to you and flock toward things that are destructive to your future. Or else we wouldn't be oppressed, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you understand? Oppression rests on people going places and enjoying pleasures that destroy them, and who are excited by nonsense and bored by stuff that they should be learning. Don't you understand? That is the foundation upon which the oppression of the people rests. You think that your being here, not being here, is an expression of your freedom of choice. It is an expression of your enslavement. In this world where things are backwards, those who are oppressed must feel freest when they are most enslaved. Yeah. And this is the result. But if you don't understand the history, people will say, well, why do we act like this? Why can't we get along? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? No people are born the way they should be for a culture. Every culture does what? Trains teaches its people to be what it needs to continuously exist. You cannot turn your children over to other people and turn yourself over to other people and expect to be the right people for yourself. You're out of your minds if you think so. Those people are going to educate you in their interest, and I don't blame them. Understand? You get run over by buses and tractors and everything to put your children in the hands of an enemy that tells you, I don't want to be bothered with them, I don't believe in them, I hate their guts, I intend for them to stay on the bottom forever, and you just make all kinds of sacrifices to push them in there. And then you wonder, they can't read, they can't write, they're so misbehaving. Don't you know you have to be in that position if you're to be ruled over? You think it's going to be the other way around? But somehow we try again and again to accomplish the same thing by the same failing means. Don't you know that is the premier sign of neurotic behavior? Doing the same thing over and over again, despite the fact that it fails time and time again, and your only solution is to try it harder and harder and harder. That's just the essence of neurotic behavior. And yet we fall for it. Every maladjusted characteristic that you find in the Black personality, the inability to get along one with the other, the inability to be reliable in our relationships one to the other, the inability to trust each other, you see, the inability to really love each other well and deeply, the lack of self-confidence, the lack of self-acceptance, the rush we get from buying from other people other than ourselves and so forth. All of those things have been implanted in the personality, and they serve economic functions, and they maintain a power situation, ladies and gentlemen. They are not things that just happen to be in your personality. They have been instilled through a historical brainwashing into the personality. So that people can say, well, you're free to develop businesses, and you're free to do this, but the problem is you don't trust each other enough, you go through it, so you can't put it together. And you have to understand then that a Black psychology, an African-American psychology, must begin at the political necessity for African-Americans to be crazy, not with Pavlov's dogs. You must understand that even the demonstration of psychology in terms of dogs is a political game, right? You think when Skinner writes about rats and cats and rats and things like that, he's being non-political? Got another thought comment. You have to recognize that you are the rat. You understand? That your ghettos are the Skinner boxes. That the relationship between the experimenter and is a power relationship. And the rat is because of the differences in power between the rat and the man. And that the rat becomes conditioned and changed as a result of the fact that the man has control of vital things in his life. And if you think you can let another people feed you and water you and clothe you and hire you and so forth, and they not transform you like that rat, you got another thought coming. And if you don't learn that in your psychology class, you are being made dumb. You must interpret. Looking at that rat must be done poetically.
Mute the mic. Boom. All right, family. Peace, 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 peace. Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love to Godcast. And this is the Black Business Showcase. I wasn't going to let the whole video play, but my brother seems to be having some trouble trying to join. I think he might be getting set up on a different device or something. So we're just going to wait a couple of more minutes for him to come in. But that's why I just let the whole video play out. I was only going to play the first 5 minutes. But how you doing? How you doing tonight, Nice D?
I'm good. Excited about the show. Excited about our guests. Excited about this information. I've watched all three of the documentaries, so definitely can't wait to pick his brain a bit and yeah, talk about
Dope,
the elementary genocide.
dope. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet myself, but yeah, I'm definitely been looking forward to this one as well. I have been checking out a lot of the brother's content. He has a YouTube channel up with a lot of content on over there, and following him on the gram as well, and just seeing some of the other interviews and stuff that he's
Yeah,
been doing offline as well. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Stuff that he's been
right.
doing offline in the prisons, and a lot of boots on the ground work that the brother been putting in. And I remember
Absolutely.
he was one of the speakers at the FBA conference here in Atlanta.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that. I
last
didn't
year
know that.
was
I
that
knew he
last
was
year?
there. That was it.
Now, he was one of the speakers. He was one of the speakers. He was not one of the main speakers, but before they had Dr. Kaba and Judge Joe Brown and everybody, all of the main speakers, they had a couple of
Mhm.
people, a couple of business owners, I guess. I don't know if they were like VIP vendors or whatever they was, but he was definitely on stage and he gave like a little presentation before everything got started.
Dope, dope. Yeah, this is wild. I think I'm, after getting the movie, and stuff like that, I feel like now there's a name, to this as well,
Hmm.
because I don't feel, I mean, if you have black kids in the public school system, if you are a product of the public school system, I don't think that we kind of named it. We just thought it was, racist maybe in school, or, they weren't teaching us properly,
This
but
ain't
there's actually
fair.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a name to it. Now we have, a way to identify what it exactly is going on in our schools.
indeed.
And I
And
definitely have some personal, testimonies, within the schools here in LA. And I mean, early with my son, early.
yeah,
I'm talking preschool, you know, maybe pre-K to like first grade-ish. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And
I'm
so,
not
yeah,
surprised.
this is like, you know what? I have a name. I understand this is a system as well, you know, and the goal is not to, teach our kids, but in fact to indoctrinate them. And if you can sweep them into the prison system, that's the goal.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I even heard, some black educators speak from that perspective. Not even just the parents, but educators themselves working in the system. And at first, just knowing that something is off,
Right.
being within that structure, knowing that something is off, but not being able to really put their finger on it. I remember I heard our brother Duan B, shout out to Duan B, speak on that as well. He was working within in the school system, and he didn't really quite understand what was going on until he saw Hidden Colors, and then
Mm,
everything clicked for him, and that's
right.
how he got started with his program. Where now he's helping parents, you know what I'm saying, to deal with the what do you call it, special education, and the ADD, all of that stuff that they be
Right.
trying to do with our kids in these behind prison walls, pretty much. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's great. We
But yeah,
got
we're gonna
another
get into
day.
all of that tonight with our guests. So everybody in the chat, what's going on? Robbie Lott,
What's
Jackson
up?
Harlem, Mama Love, what's going on?
Uh,
View of one. I just be playing. Don't take me
no,
serious. I'm
no.
just joking. I'm just joking with you,
Leave her alone.
man. She be feeling all bad. She like, oh,
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
We love you, sis.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you, man. But yeah, make sure y'all hit the like button, share this out. Our brother will be joining us very shortly, and we're gonna have a dope conversation tonight.
Absolutely.
Um, for those of
And
y'all that
hope
don't know, who we talking about. We talking about the brother Rahiem Shabazz. He is the actually, let me go ahead and read the bio.
right,
Let me
because
go
I
ahead
was
and
like,
read
I
it.
know he done not just the movies, he wrote for several big magazines that we know of, Double
Mm-hmm,
XL, Source
mm-hmm,
Magazine, so
mm-hmm.
he's also a journalist, he's a writer, he's a direct, movie producer, has a fashion apparel brand, like brother doing things.
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am. Sorry.
That's all right.
So,
I know what
so
you mean.
Rahiem Shabazz, filmmaker, Rahiem executive produced the critically acclaimed, award-winning Elementary Genocide, a documentary series which exposes socially engineered mechanism known as the school-to-prison pipeline. Shabazz routinely appears in interviews on television, radio, and on the internet as a political pundit and academic ambassador for the Black community. He travels the world as a public speaker at colleges, correctional institutions, and various community events. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me get this brother's credentials right for y'all.
I wrote some down.
He is the owner of Rasha Entertainment, Inc., and is an award-winning journalist and filmmaker. The gifted writer's byline has been spotted on the pages of The Source, Double XL, Vibe Magazine, Rolling Out, Urban Enterprise Magazine, AllHipHop.com, to name a few. He has appeared on BET, Stars, In Black, and MTV News. He has interviewed an array of celebrities and executives, including media maven Tyler Perry, hip-hop legend 50 Cent, and entertainment icon Magic Johnson. So that's who we're going to be joined by tonight.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me
And guess what? He's from your state. I'm stuck in the middle of two New Yorkers tonight.
I thought he was from New York too. I know,
Yeah,
and he's
Harlem.
and he's based down here in Atlanta.
Yeah, he's
So,
from Harlem originally.
We're gonna get into all that. Okay, he didn't text me back yet. I guess he's still trying.
Kind of, yeah. Sometimes it be like that. Bear with us, but keep like, share, of course, you guys. He will be on with us shortly, and yeah. So
All right, send the link. I'm in the Skype. That is the link that was sent to my email. Send it here to my phone. All right. Some reason he said he got a Skype link. It shouldn't be a Skype link. All right, let me send it to him here. Let me go to StreamYard.
and if any of you guys don't have his documentaries, I highly recommend the movies. I got them prior to him getting on the show. I'm kind of new to being introduced, so I just sat up here on the weekends and crammed, and look, not crammed, but I got stuck on it. I'm one of those people. I love new information, or if it's new to me. And he has a bunch of the scholars that we love on here, and they're just spitting so much hot fire.
Yep.
And again, if you're a parent and you have children within the public school system, this is one of those must-reads. This is one of the things that you need so you can better equip yourself, if you're having issues within the school system, how to address it, because again, he's putting a name to it, he's putting a face to it, and all those things. So if you're a parent, if you know someone that works in the school system, I would recommend having a viewing party, if you can, with your, family, with your friends, and other parents, definitely do that. I think I'm going to do that because I have a friend who's actually a school counselor, who doesn't know about these movies. So, we're definitely talking about getting together and, talking about the movie. And she has teenagers.
For sure. Definitely people that's working in the educational field need to be aware of this type of information so that they could better serve our children in that capacity. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they're just there doing the bidding of the oppressors. Okay. And it looks like our brother is in the building now. So we're gonna get ready to get started. I was gonna play the trailer to the first one, but we could do that, a little bit later in the conversation. But yeah, so everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all being here with us tonight. I'm gonna let them finish getting set up over there. And I already read the bio and everything, so y'all know we in for a treat. Once again, it's on in the Black Business Showcase. Appreciate y'all being with us tonight. You ready, brother? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. And I'm gonna bring you on screen. All right, here we go. So without further ado, we introduce to you our brother, your brother, Rahiem Shabazz. Let me get a digital round of applause for the king.
Peace and
going on,
Black
family?
Power family. How y'all
Hey.
doing?
Great. Good to see you,
Hey.
man.
Do you hear me good? Because your volume is real low.
Oh yeah.
My volume is low.
Yeah.
I hear you fine. Let me see. Let me check my
Okay.
levels over here.
Let me try to adjust my volume on this.
Let me check my audio. Boom, boom. Yeah, I should be good. Everything looks good on my side.
Mine is already hot. Mine is all the way up too.
And we could hear you. We could hear you and see you fine as well.
All right. All
Maybe
right, let's
some,
roll.
maybe
Let's go
maybe
with
some, maybe some headphones. You got some headphones?
it.
If not, it's all good. You know, we make it do what it do.
Yeah. We good. Let me see if I can grab these headphones.
All right, no problem.
All right.
All right, much love in the chat. Much love in the chat. Y'all bear with us. You know, we live. You know, it's a live show. We getting it together. We getting it together. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I ain't even see Star. What's going on, Star? Star. Thursday nights is your night, huh? You be in the building on Thursday nights. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let us know.
All right,
Let us
y'all
know.
hear me
Let us
now?
know. Yep.
Yep.
All right, I'm much better. I'm a
right,
freestyle
cool.
this and hold this with my hand, but let's go.
And y'all let us know in the chat if y'all could see and hear all three of us clearly. If y'all see any issues, but moderators, just let us know if there's any issues with the stream as well, and we'll try to make some adjustments as we go along. But we here. Welcome to the platform, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed and I'm ready to receive.
That's what's up, man. That's what's
We're
up.
blessed to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining us.
So
No problem.
we started off the show with a little short clip from Dr. Amos Wilson. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was appropriate dealing with some of the topics we're gonna be touching on tonight with the miseducation of our people. You know what I'm saying? And also we read your bio for the people and gave all your credentials and all of that stuff before you got on too, so everybody know who we dealing with as well. But just give us a little bit of background. You know, who is Rahiem Shabazz? How did this whole journey begin for you?
Yeah, I'm originally from Harlem. You know, I'm from Harlem, New York, and growing up, me like many of my peers, I found myself on the wrong side of the law, which led to my incarceration. And while I was incarcerated, I realized that, you know, with education, that on the outside things would have been different for me. You know, I made wrong decisions based on my lack of knowledge. So when I was able to come into the knowledge of self, I was able to think different. I was able to do things different. So throughout my travels and my journey in the New York State prison system, I wound up going to college, and I graduated 8 days before I got released, and I graduated in the top 5% of my class. So I know that education is of paramount concern. When I came out, I was heavily involved in the filming industry, and I realized that in order to make a change, because none of the movies that I was working on or anything that I was doing was really pushing the culture forward. So I said I was going to do a documentary. So I wanted to do something that was near and dear to my heart. And that's when I came up with the concept of elementary genocide, because I realized my journey in the public school system and how it was being taught, and how, you know, those that reside in the inner city are not being properly educated. Because when you look at the statistics, right, if you're not reading on grade level, by the time you're in the third or fourth grade, there's a 75% chance that you're going to end up in prison, right? And those prisons are sold on the stock market. This is where the school to prison pipeline come in. So let me go back a little bit. While I was incarcerated and I was in college, we had to write a paper, and my paper was on the school to prison pipeline. So that's why when I wanted to do a documentary, I went back to that subject matter. But to bring it even further, in the education system, the teachers are predominantly white, right? So here it is, you have the Caucasian female that mentally miseducates you, and then you have the correction officer, and police that physically locks you up. So this works hand in hand, right? So you got the miseducation and a direct link to the school to prison pipeline, and then 70% of white teachers are married to someone that has some direct impact within the law enforcement agency. So this is well searched and researched and vetted. I actually started doing more research for this documentary, right, in 2010, and I put it out January 16, 2014. And when I came out with the documentary, a lot of people were saying, "Rahiem, man, those are some high numbers you saying that can't necessarily be true. Like, where you getting this information from?" And it wasn't until Barack Obama did his State of the Union speech where he talked about the school to prison pipeline, where everybody was like, "Wow, that's what and it was right on time because it was like within a week after my documentary." So it kind of gave it validation. You know how people are with the smoke screens and mirrors until celebrities or someone else like that start mentioning it, then it gives it validation. So that was my journey. I put out the first one, Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. Then I came back with the second one, the Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. And then I came back with the third and final, which is called Academic Holocaust. Now, people have been asking me, when you going to drop part 4? I thought about it, but then I got so much of the subject matter that I could get out there to the public that has nothing to do with this. You know what I mean? My next documentary is going to show our greatness. It's not going to be something where it's on a social justice issue. It's just going to be about us. So my thing is this: if you didn't get it in 1, then you better have got it in 2. If you didn't get it in 2 or 3, then you wasn't trying to get it at all.
Facts. And I have to admit, I'm guilty. I have not watched the documentary series yet, and I have it right here. I just haven't had a chance to sit down yet. But I appreciate
what about you, sister? I know you watched it, right?
I have took notes and everything.
Okay, that's what's up.
You know what? I was telling them before the show, before you entered the room, that I was glad that I finally got a chance to see it and have been introduced to it because it actually puts a name to it. I grew up in the public school system. I have a 16-year-old son that's now in the public school system, and things were occurring early, in his school years, and so now it's like I have a name to it and I have more information as to why that was occurring. And honestly, there was a black female teacher that intervened. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
wow.
That witnessed certain things, that was witnessing and hearing certain things in the classroom that he was seeing next to her. And my mom would pick him up for me from school because I was working, and she pulled my mom aside and was like, "Hey, get him out that classroom, make them put him here with me." You know what I'm saying? Because she started to see things that was happening, hearing things within the classroom. My son was getting punished, toys taken, grounded, all kind of stuff, and it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. This was a system.
Yeah, so the documentary, when I was doing my research, like I said, I came across the 3rd and 4th grade, right? And if you go back to Kawanja Kanjufu, Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, that was written in the 80s. And he talks about all of this, right? So like I said, the research led me to third and fourth grade. But after releasing the documentary, we have since learned that the school to prison pipeline begins the first day they step in a kindergarten class. When
Boom.
you enter kindergarten, there is a certain amount of vocabulary words that you need to know. When we come in there, we don't know those number of words, and it creates a barrier. When they look at that, that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is when they look at young black boys and black girls, they don't see themselves, right? They see a generation that's going to come up that they already have vitriol towards. So they treat them as their enemy. They treat them
Mhm.
as, I have a saying that they will treat you as a child and punish you as an adult. And,
Mm.
and that's exactly what they do in these school systems, because one of the things that we know is that it takes someone that looks like you in order to teach you, because children are smarter than what a lot of people give credit to. If we
Right.
don't know that you love us, we don't want to be taught by you. And I think that's the
Mhm.
disconnect that is happening in these public school systems. CNN came out with an article that said that black babies that are delivered from black doctors have a lower uh, mortality rate than if they was delivered by white doctors, right? There's
Mhm.
studies that those that go to HBCUs or have black teachers throughout their earlier education and their journey through the education system has a higher achievement rate in school. So we know all the factors, we know all the data that's there. That's why it's mind-boggling that we continue to send our children to our open enemy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Malcolm X, he said it. We are the only people that allow our open enemy to teach our children. And that right there got to stop. And that's why when the pandemic happened, right, it was almost a good thing in terms of families reconnecting with their children, having to homeschool them. And a lot of them opt out of the public school system and continue to homeschool them to this day. And people don't even know the benefits, man, of homeschooling your children, as far as you can get certain tax credit and incentives depending on what state you live in. There is zero
Yeah.
police school to prison pipeline when you homeschooling. Those that are homeschool have a higher academic achievement. It's just so many benefits from it. And as many of y'all know, with today's generation of our bright and courageous leaders, a lot of them are not going, they don't need school. They need to take up a trade. The model for teaching is
Mhm.
outdated. What they teaching is outdated. No one is teaching about financing. No one's teaching about credits, cryptocurrency, and how to build and pass down generational wealth. And as a family and as a unit, you have to do that in your home. Schooling starts first
Yep.
in the home, and then, you learn about it in the outside world. Some things are taught and some things are caught. You know what I mean? We got to teach it, and when they go out in the world, they got to catch on to it, and they got to excel. And one of the things that is good about Afrocentric education, because it's based on community, right? So you get this
Right.
education, um, and whatever you do, and whatever your journey is, your job, your walk in life, you come back to the community. You know what I mean? If you're doing something, it should be to benefit your community.
Absolutely, man.
Why do you think that we kind of, it seems we as a people kind of run from that? We feel like we have to be very inclusive versus exclusive when it comes to our community. Is that some type of defense mechanism? Are we worried about, being considered racist or divisive or whatever terms that they come up now? Why are we so hell bent on being, integrated into other people's systems versus our own.
Oh man, it's sad because we're the only people that do it. But you know what it is? We get shamed by other race of people when we want to do for self, when we want to join on to our own. You know, no one calls the Chinese racist when you go down to Chinatown and they speaking in their native language and everything from the billboards to the decal to the store sign is written in Chinese. You know, no one has a problem with that. But as soon as you open up a store and you say this is a black-owned business and you catering to black people, it's a problem, with that.
Right.
And I think what it is a lot of people, they want to seek validation from white people. It's constant dissonance.
Yeah.
And we got to wake up out of that. And to be honest with you, more and more of our people are starting to realize that, the white man ice is not colder, and
Right.
we can do things ourselves. I just had an individual that's doing exceptionally well, right? As far as getting funding in the nonprofit sector. And I even had him open up for me. And, I went to his events. He let me speak at his events. And he said, man, Rahiem, you could be getting so much of this money, but you got to tone it down a notch. You know what I mean? Because he gets a lot of funding from, white people. And I just can't do that. You know what I mean? Nuke per nuke. I am that I am. You know what I mean?
that I am.
And let the chips fall where it may. And I respect the brother and I respect what he's doing because everything that he's doing is benefiting us and the youth, right? But there's certain things that I'm sure he want to say that he's not going to say because he know he will get his funding pulled from him.
Absolutely.
And as far as with me, I can't get no funding pulled from me, because I fund all three of my projects. I can't get no funding pulled from me because I run business and I run plays and moves that my name is not even attached to, so I take that money and I can infuse that into whatever project I want to do that's going to benefit black people and use it to benefit us for our growth and development. And these are things that you have to do. There are people that are not necessarily a part of the movement that supports what individuals like myself and y'all and what we do, that they will just give us money. You know what I mean? And they don't want no parts of it. They don't want their name out there. And that's cool. Everybody got to play their part. I stand on the front line 10 toes down, and I don't care about the open enemy liking me or not. There's a clip I just posted on IG, and it's the white guy, and I think it's from the trial, and he was talking with someone, and he said, we can't have Al Sharpton. No, he said Al Sharpton came. You seen that clip?
Yeah, he basically, it was an attorney in the Aubrey trial, and he basically said that he didn't want Al Sharpton in the courtroom or any other black pastors in the courtroom because that may sway the jurors. He said that out loud, out his mouth.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. You know what I mean?
But
so
that's
we
the
gotta
system
fight.
of white supremacy as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we gotta fight in silence, And then see, this is the underlying thing of that, right? If black people don't show up, if black people don't raise their voice and their outrage, then he'll get acquitted. In fact, I would go on record to say if he's not acquitted, which I think he may be, the time that they're going to give them is not going to be significantly enough. You already see the judge is on code with white supremacy.
Absolutely.
Just by some of his rulings. The same thing And you got to think they got 2 cases that's dealing with racial injustice right now that's going on. So we just got to pay attention and keep our head on the swivel.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Very
and
important.
I think that, that has nothing to do, it has every bit to do with all of us. The outcomes of these verdicts, whether it's the way that we need it to go or not, it has every bit to do with Black people.
Indeed.
Nicely, your video is freezing up. We could hear you the whole time. Your audio is fine, but the video is freezing up. So just I don't know if you can make any adjustments over there. But yeah, you touched on a lot of stuff right there, brother, man, talking about how they use their money to control our organizations and certain individuals, basically to create control the opposition, you know what I'm saying, and also to give themselves some semblance of being benevolent, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That they like to play the fox, you know what I mean? Malcolm X talk about the fox versus the wolf, but they both have the same objective, and that's to eat us up, to swallow us up. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so, yeah, I'm interested to know, did you have a background in film, or did you just say this was something that I want to do and I'm gonna figure it out by any means necessary, or how did that come together for you?
Initially, I started out as a screenwriter. I had wrote a script. It was called The Sun Will Rise, right? And I had wrote this while I was in prison. And when I came out, I was going back and forth to LA, meeting with different agents and film companies, and we had some good traction. But once again, people was trying to change, what I originally had in mind. I had, listen, this is the truth. I had one agent that was well connected in Hollywood, and he had 50 Cent's ear. And he was like, yo, I can get 50 Cent and Ja Rule to be in this film. And I'm like, listen, that would never happen. Those are mortal enemies. That's not going to happen. But I'm just telling you how certain individuals think. So after a while, I was just like, you know what? Let me do this on my own. So I knew that I didn't have enough money to do a full feature film. But I did have enough money to do a short film, right? So what I did was I took my money, I did a short film, I started entering it into festivals. Sundance was interested in it. That year, they had a short film contest with a hip hop theme to it. We didn't win, but we got a what they call it, an honorary acknowledgement or something like that. But this is Sundance. So that was a big thing for me. So I started entering it into a lot of other festivals. I won the Atlanta Hip Hop Film Festival, and one of the awards was that I'll be apprentice on the set of Tyler Perry. Right, he was shooting Daddy's Little Girl. So I think I was apprentice for like 7 days, something like that. On the 7th day, I went up to Roger Bob. He was the I forget what his title was. He was like the second in command. Okay. And I told him, I said, yo, I need a job. He said, you really want to work? And I'm like, yeah. He said, what you want to do? I said, I can't come in here as a director, but I start from the bottom. And so I came in as a PA, and I worked my way up. And I got closer and closer and closer to the set. I think I worked on like 4 movies with them. But as you can see, I don't fit in that Hollywood mode. I am who I am. Right. I appreciated the opportunity. I appreciate being able to be on set and to learn a whole lot. And, I took them skill sets and I just started doing my own thing. I started doing commercials. I started doing music videos. And, with anything, dissatisfaction brings about change. So when I'm doing music videos, everybody want to be a baller. They want strippers in the video. They want guns in the video. And it was just like, yo, come on, let's do something artistic. So when I couldn't get that done, I was like, all right, I'm done with that. And then that's when I went to the documentary. I actually have a full feature film. I'm doing the final draft to it right now. I should be having that coming out soon too, you know, as far as principal photography. So we're going to start shooting that real soon. I also got another, I want to put that out before I put out my next documentary.
Can you tell us anything about it? Can you tell us anything about that one?
No, I can't tell you about that, but I can tell you about the documentary. The documentary is called Africa Town. And I don't know if you know about Cujo Lewis.
Out in California?
No, not that Africa Town. This was in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
Cujo Lewis, he passed away. He was 95 years old. He was brought over here in 1865, right? When they abolished slavery,
after the Civil War,
and it was against the law. Slavery still existed here, but you couldn't import slaves no more. It was two brothers in Mobile, Alabama, that went against the law, and they went into the interiors of Africa, Benin, and they captured a whole bunch of slaves. I think it was like 114 of them, and they brought them to Mobile, Alabama. But when the Emancipation Proclamation happened, they freed the slaves. He was the youngest one. And he, you know, most of them, they petitioned. He was one of them. They were trying to petition to go back to Africa, and they told them that if you go back, that's on you. We're not sending you back. So a lot of them married the native slaves that was already here. Cujo Lewis, he was interviewed by Zora Hurston, right, in the 1930s. So there's an actual moving image of him. I have this. It's really hard to find, but he's the only slave where there's a documented image of him. There's like a
motion picture.
Yeah, motion picture. But you got to remember, in the 1930s, there was no sound, you know, but she interviewed him for a magazine, and they just released a book like 2 years ago. It's called Battle Coon, and it's about his life. But he's the oldest slave, you know what I mean, and the last known slave to be on the soils in the United States. And I think he died in 1935 or something like that, at 95 years old. But the story is captivating because this is one of the things, right? That town still exists today. I went down there and I viewed a lot of descendants of Cujo Lewis, visit his graveyard. The schools that they built is still there. Because you got to remember, right? They didn't import slaves. They brought kings, they brought queens, they brought engineers, they brought high priests, they brought medicine men, right? So a lot of the customs and the stuff that they had, they brought it with them. So some of them was freed within 4 years of being over here. He was only a slave for 4.5 years, right? So they went to build their own schools, their own town. They bought land from their prior owners, and that town today is known as Africa Town. So that's the next documentary. I should have been put it out, but with the pandemic and everything, and then being a creative, right? When you watch something too many times, I was like, nah, I'm changing the whole direction. I'm going here, I'm going there, you know, because you want to enhance it. And, you know, I know people always say this, but I think this would be my best work to date. If I'm able to get it off the way I want to, because it's not just another documentary with talking heads. We're going to reenact some scenes. There's still artifacts that that they had that's still available today. It's so much history that is still preserved from them. The schools is still there. Some of the houses that they built is still there. So that rich tradition and history is still there as well.
Dope, man. That
So
sounds dope as hell, man. If there's
everything
anything we could do
lost.
to help, let us know. You know what I mean? If there's anything that we could do to help anybody that you're trying to connect with that we might be able to reach out to or anything like that as well.
Absolutely.
That sounds dope. I want to see that one get done.
Where you located at?
I'm in Gwinnett.
Oh, you down here in Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm in Gwinnett.
And the sister, where you located at?
I'm in LA.
Oh, you're in LA. So why you got New York City? You got New York City, girl.
It's not. Everybody thinks that that's New York City. It's nice, Steve.
Nicey. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you was from Harlem or something.
No.
You made your
I'm
way
a Cali
to
country girl.
LA. Huh?
I said I'm a Cali country girl.
Oh, okay. Cali ain't the country.
Well, my family's from the country though, so I got that. That southernness is in me. It's in me.
Okay. So yeah, sincere. We definitely got to link up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely got to link up.
I met you and spoke to you very briefly at the FBA conference, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I spoke there. You heard me when I spoke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, shout out to Tariq Nasheed, man. He allowed me the opportunity to speak at the Foundation Black American Conference.
Yep.
Actually, he'll be in the state of Georgia. I think he's gonna be in Savannah, but he's working on a new documentary that they're gonna be out here shooting. And I think it's next week actually. He's gonna be down here. They got a lot going on next week. In fact, I'll back channel you and let you know about 2 events I'm gonna be at.
Okay.
I don't wanna say it, man, online. Sometimes I put stuff out, man, and people just show up. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yeah, the ones you don't want to show up, like people just come to see me, and people that you don't want to deal with.
I understand. Sometimes you got to
So
repel certain energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So a lot of times, people see me posting and they hit me up. Like when I was in Orlando, they're like, "Yo, you still in Orlando?" Like, man, I left 2 days ago, man. You know what I mean? Because if I post, people would just come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be crazy.
Why do you feel like it was important for you to get this information, such as elementary genocide and the new projects that's coming out? Why is it important for you to get this information out to our people?
Marcus Garvey, right? That's my hero, right? And he has a saying, right, where he said, education rules the world and ignorance carries the burden, right? And I never wanted to be a burden for my people. Anything that I ever did in life, I always had that leadership quality. When I was 10 toes down in the street, I didn't follow nobody. I had a whole crew behind me, so I knew from the onset that I have leadership potential, but I'm not a leader. And when I say I'm not a leader is because I teach people and I tell people we got to look for leadership within ourselves. The chorus is louder than the single member in the choir. Absolutely. Right? You got everybody singing in union. So we have to get back to that, and we have to stop looking for one individual to be our leader. And we already know how, from history, that most leaders are co-op, they killed, they assassinated, and a lot of them, they sellouts, and as you see it, right, from what you was talking about earlier, that was a lawyer, right, for the defense that was saying that. He named 2 black pastors. Y'all are fearful of 2 black pastors? You need to be fearful of the 10,000 black people that's going to emerge on that courtroom the day of the verdict. That's what they need to be afraid of. You mean to tell me y'all afraid of the Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptons of the world?
That's what y'all worried about?
Right. And
Yeah.
right. And
Then
these
you
are the
got us
people y'all
really
gave
fucked
us.
up. Huh?
Right. And these are the people they gave us. So it's
Yeah.
almost hypocritical because these are the people that you gave to us.
Absolutely. And you know, J. Edgar Hoover said that there'll never be another Malcolm X, there'll never be another Martin Luther King unless we create them. Ain't that something?
Exactly.
Unless we create them. Nah, that
Absolutely.
ain't gonna
And I
happen.
agree with that.
That's why they
Well,
always try to swap
listen.
out.
They didn't create Malcolm X. They didn't
No.
create Martin
No.
Luther King to a
Not at
certain
all.
degree.
No.
So I understand what you say when you say you believe in it, right? That they create these so-called leaders and put them in position and things like that and prop them up on TV. But we living in a different day and time where we have access to the internet. We have access to Sincere Love
To each other.
Godcast. You know what I mean? Where we can get the information out there. You know what I mean? We can vet who they put up in front of us. You know, we can see, you know, and ask, what's your track record? Who knows this individual? And if you ain't known and your resume ain't solid in the street, then we know that you's an industry plant. You know, and that's what it is with a lot of these entertainers, with a lot of these so-called YouTubers and leaders, so-called leaders, I say. So I think today we're in a better position than any other time in history.
So we got a question from the chat. Shout out to Mama Love. This is my mom in the chat, man.
Okay.
She said, Rahiem, what do you know about Seneca Village here in New York? That's where I'm originally from. My mom is still in New York, by the way. We from upstate, Middletown, New York, though. Where Central Park now sits, and would you be doing anything on that?
I know about Seneca Village. That they have a burial ground there. That's where black people we control that area, and I think that's also where the black slaves were sold. And I think they say Central Park is built on that. I know a little bit about it. And what was the last part of the question? Will I be doing a documentary on that?
Yeah. Would you be doing anything on that?
I didn't have it in mind, but you know, that's something definitely to consider. Because we definitely got to tell our history, right? And you know, we can't be relegated to just the civil rights. You know, during Black History Month, they always talk about Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, and you know, slavery, and you know, what is it, George Washington Carver, and let me tell you something. Those are our historical figures, but our history goes further beyond that.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's a shame that they only talk about slavery during Black History Month. You know, slavery is not Black history. Slavery interrupted Black history. You know?
History, right.
Yeah, now they want to give us hip hop history month and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hip hop is every day, man. Hip hop is every day. And then you know, you really have to look and see, right? There was a lot of Republicans that supported that, right? Anytime you got the Democrats and Republicans
on the same page about something?
On the same page, you need to look deeper and further into that, right? Like that infrastructure bill. That infrastructure bill is giving money to immigrants. You know, even the and I'm surprised this didn't get passed, that George Floyd bill, right? 900 million, no, I think it's $900 billion was going to the police department. You know, and you know how they coded in the bill that it would go to more training,
police reform,
diversity training, and you know, community policing. And let me tell you something: the only one who benefits from that is the police department. That's more overtime. They're able to get more militarized weapons. Black community does not benefit from that, but they're slided in there under the George Floyd Act
Right,
and say,
Absolutely,
look,
right,
we
man.
right.
got this passed for you. And what it is called benign neglect, where
Yes.
they make you think that they're giving you something, but they really not.
It's
Absolutely.
almost seems like they act like we can't read either. They still think that a bunch of us are still dumb Negroes, where a lot of us are rather educated in their systems or self-educated. We can read. We are now very engaged into politics and the political process at this time. So you're not going to be able to fool us with those types of verbiages in these policies. But again, they get this other sector of black looking people, right, that co-sign the
Exactly.
stuff such as CDC, NAACP. They'll even trot Al Sharpton out there, to co-sign some of these policies. So when black people see black faces like that and that are so public, they think, well, if he say it's good, then it's good. We're not
Mm-hmm.
doing that
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, we got to get away from black faces and high places, and
Faces. Hmm.
these old handkerchief head Negroes that's running these civil rights organizations like the NAACP. That to me, that's Negroes always asking Caucasians for permission. That's what the
Right.
NAACP stand for me. You know, those
Somebody write that in the
organizations
chat for me. Somebody write that in the chat for me.
we gotta see time and time again, you know what I mean? We have it gotta be a process, right? Like you see this shirt it says
Be
B1.
one.
If your
Black
agenda is
first.
not black first, then you know we can't really rock with you like that. You know what I mean? And this is why I was so upset with people that was wanted to get Kamala Harris in there. Black girl magic. She's the first black vice president. What has she done?
Yeah.
She
When was
hasn't
she
done
black?
nothing. Listen.
When did she become black?
And not only that, I have not heard anything about her probably within the last 3 to 4 months.
Well, here
And
in
I
California,
yeah,
because
yeah,
her
yeah. You
policies
going
within
out?
the school system,
You
I'm
going in it.
sorry, I
You
was
going.
saying that.
You going in and out,
Can you
beloved.
guys now? Now?
Yeah, I hear
Am
you.
I good now? I was saying we here in California knew who she was, but obviously in all the negative stuff, because as we're talking tonight about the school to prison pipeline, she was, putting black people in prison because of tardiness. Truancy laws that she created that specifically targeted the black community. So black people knew about her, a
Yeah.
lot. And when we were on the social media trying to pick apart her history, as the AG, they were trying to knock that down. They didn't want anyone to highlight that. And she's always been Asian American until she became the VP nominee.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a shame, man, because I caught a lot of flack from people because they were so hell bent on getting Donald Trump out of there that what she did, the harm that she caused the black people, the amount of people that she had locked up in the state of California, that was a non-concerning factor. They just wanted Donald
Right.
Trump out there, and this is the
Not
problem
just
when we want to look for the lesser of two evils.
Mm-hmm.
that.
And then you didn't even get that
And
right.
not just locking the parents up. She had prisoners fighting those fires here in California that should have been
Mm-hmm.
getting out. She fought to keep in prison for that free prison labor, which again your movie also talks about, prison, school to prison pipeline, but also how prison becomes free labor, for these big corporations as well, and she's a part of that system.
Yeah, and people don't realize, man, that prison labor is real. They got people
Mhm.
building furnitures. Listen, every state office and every state building, a lot of their furnitures come from prisoners, right? The
Yep.
license plates, um, there,
Electronic.
Victoria's Secret, there Whole Foods at one time was using prisoners for certain
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
When I was locked up, um, I think it was $1.10 a day. That's what you getting, $1.10 a day.
$1.10. You was balling. I think you was only getting 10 cents.
10 9. It was getting about $1.10 a day. But it's crazy, right? And that was one of the things. Like, I remember I had worked in the kitchen, right? And the only reason why I worked in the kitchen is because, you know, there were some brothers in there that was cool. And they was like, yo, Rob, we need to get you over here with us. And they was like, yo, and it looked like they was having fun. You know what I mean? Working in the kitchen. Plus, you get your hustle on, right? Man, let me tell you, man. The benefits from that is you're allowed to watch TV like 3-4 hours later than everybody else. You got your own. They got more microwaves, more washers, dryers. So they try to give you these little perks to work inside the prison. You got to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. That was a real problem for me. Yeah. And then they talk to you real greasy. I lasted 72 hours. The police was talking. I was like, whoa, who you talking to? It was like, you don't like it, you can leave. Oh, not a problem.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be like a privilege. That's supposed to be like some shit like they dangling over your head.
Talking to me like that. I'm a grown man. So when that happened to me, you got to go, they call him a counselor. You go, you see a counselor, and she asked me what I want to do. I told her I want to go home. She said, that's not going to happen. Yeah. She said, but you got to pick a job. I'm not picking no job. I don't want to do that. She said, well, we're going to put you in the hole. Okay. You know, and she was looking at me like, he doesn't really care. They can tell when you really don't care. So she said, listen, I'm going to give you 2 weeks and then you come back and hopefully you make your decision, right? So after that, she said, yo, what you want to do? They had a boxing team. I said, yo, I want to be on the boxing team. I already signed up. They got me approved. You know what I mean? I had to go through the training. So I boxed for the next 2 years. After I got tired with the boxing, you know, I said, yo, I'm winding down. I'm about to get out. Let me go get this college degree. And then, you know, they pay you to box. They paid me to go to college.
Man, were you was in Jersey or something?
Huh? No, I was in New York State.
I was in New York?
Okay. Yeah. The boxing program was in Mid-State Correctional Facility. Okay. And then when I went to college, I went to Woodburn Correctional Facility, and that's where I came home from. Throughout my 6 years, I think I was in 9 different prisons in 6 years. Like certain jails, they kept me there for like 6 months and they transferred me. 6 months and they transferred me. They sent me to Clinton, Dannemora. Matter of fact, I was there in Clinton when Tupac was there. Okay. But they didn't let me out. They brought me into the general population, and the captain came down, and he was like, don't even unpack. And I was like, why? Now, mind you, I've been on a bus for 12 hours, right? They give you a tour around New York State, 12 hours, and I finally get here. He tell me, yo, don't unpack. You're not staying here. I said, why? He said, we know who you are, and we don't tolerate that shit here. And that's when they sent me to Woodburn Correctional Facility.
Speaking about, you know, your prison experience and all that, and I definitely can relate. Actually, I was in Dannemora as well. You know what I'm saying?
They call that the last stop.
Yeah, I know how that is,
man. You can see the
way
Canadian
up there in the
flag
mountains.
out the window.
Way up there in the mountains, man. You know what I mean? Cold as hell. You know what I mean? Yeah. They say Dannemora is some of the whitest people I think on the planet, but definitely in America. Like some of the most pure white people is in that county in Dannemora. Like, and it's a lot of incest and shit that goes on up there. Like all of them COs and shit, they all related to each other.
They are
you know what I'm saying?
And I know you heard about when they was rebuilding the gym and they pulled
and
up.
They found all of them bodies under the gym floor. Yeah, they had to bring in the National Guard and shit like that. Yeah, it's a lot of history there.
Yeah, those are inmates. And the reason why, like, I was upset that they sent me there because, you know, I was married. My wife and kids will always come up and see me. But when you go that far,
it make it hard.
You always want to have a visit both of those days. You don't want them to come for a couple of hours. So a lot of people, family, be staying in them hotels. You don't want to do that, not in Dannemora, you know. So that was my main concern. So when they told me I'm not staying,
that they didn't want me there. I'm like, cool, I ain't want to be here anyway. Yo,
Yeah.
they listen, they got 10 months of winter up there.
Yeah.
That shit is cold,
It's
man.
brick.
I said, man,
It's
these
brick.
devils live up here like they back in the caves in the Caucasus
Exactly.
Mountains or something.
Exactly. Those some real Caucasus Mountain crackers up there, man. But yeah, speaking about, you know, that experience, you know, I seen that you were speaking in the Fulton County Jail here,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, speaking to the inmates and stuff like that. So how did you get connected and be able to, you know, go back and pay that back, you know, with that experience?
Man, that's one of the things that I do, right? I go to prisons all across the country. Well, I haven't now in the last, I want to say 2 years, but I'm getting ready to start going back, right? I done been to Texas, I done been to Philadelphia, I done been to Virginia, I've been to Mississippi, Jackson State, been here. I done been to all over, and that's one of the things that I like to do. Is talk to those that are incarcerated. I work with the formerly incarcerated. We call them, myself included, returning citizens. You know, here in Atlanta, the month of June is designated reentry month for returning citizens. So I help them get jobs, show them, you know, how to get housings and different things like that. So me going back, man, I just use my experience as not only a cautionary tale, because it can't be a cautionary tale for them because they already found themselves behind the wall, but it can be an inspiration because, like I told you, I graduated in the top 5% of my class, right? And I got a degree in human service. That degree is still in that manila envelope. I never took it out. I never framed it, because I knew then that when I come out, I was never gonna work for nobody again. You know, and I had to feel my obligation when I was on parole. You know, you have to keep a job. So I think I might have worked 2 years, and then I came to Atlanta. I might have worked another 2 years, but other than that, you know, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been working for myself for over 16 years. I've been released January 13th, 2000. So this January will make 22 years that I've been out in the free cipher. And I always was able to find a way. I was always able to figure it out because you got to be a critical thinker. And once you know what the plan is, and you're able to circumvent it, and you're able to tap into your energy and your ability, you can do the same thing. So this is the message that when I go into the prisons and I tell them, it's so much that individuals could do nowadays that I didn't have the opportunity to do when I was running the streets. Like, a lot of people say we do all have a choice, but we all didn't have the opportunity. Now, the opportunity is there.
I'm
In the
looking at
80s,
the streets.
Yeah, in the 80s, when I first started going to the penitentiary in the late 80s, you had to get it by hook or crook, and I was gonna get it, like I'm gonna get it now, but I'm gonna do it the legal way. But
so as I learned on your series, they criminalized they started to criminalize the policies. So even with that piece of paper that you were able to obtain within, the system, lucky for you was free. You didn't have to come out here and pay for college and get in debt. But then what type of job were you really going to get once they ran your name, right? So they still make it where you're not going to make a livable wage perhaps, or you're going to have doors closed on you, which I think is also to discourage, right? To get you to get back into the system. But I was from your documentaries, of course, no financial aid once you go into the prison system. You're
absolutely
unable to vote, which I believe they changed that now or recently in certain states.
In certain states.
Yeah. But we're gonna go work for Amazon for $15 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to knock that, because some people have to start somewhere. But I'm in LA. You can't live off that. So if you have a criminal record, and that's the only thing you're able to do and not really get ahead, your only option to me is do what you did, figure it out and for self and create something for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And what you're talking about is collateral damage, right? And
Yes.
there's 43,000 different collateral damage that one is impacted by once they're released from the penitentiary. There's a sister that's in there. Her name is Desiree Lee. Shout out to that sister. She talks about she went to go get a job, and I think it was at a restaurant, and to be a waiter, right? And you know, the waiter serves liquor. She couldn't serve liquor because she had a felony. You know,
Right.
if you have a drug case, you're not going to work in a pharmacy. You know, if you was charged for armed robbery, which I was
You ain't
charged
working at a
for,
bank.
you're not working in no bank. You know, so I
Mhm.
did have certain factors that hindered me. Um, I applied for a business loan, right? And they said I couldn't get the business loan because I had a criminal record.
Wow.
But
Yep.
it was a
Yep.
but luckily I had did some research, and the ACLU had sued the Small Business Association, and Biden and them lifted it so that if you have a criminal record, I think if you haven't been arrested in the last 5 to 7 years, you was eligible for it. But I had to send all this paperwork and all of that. But I was like,
Mhm.
really? From 27 years ago? Really? Yeah, this is what's gonna stop me. So they wound up giving me the loan, and but it was crazy. You know how mad I was?
I can
I'm
imagine,
like,
man.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Y'all,
I'm
y'all,
like,
y'all even gonna let me go in debt to shoot my shot?
oh nah, I ain't
Right.
going
Right.
debt because that was I wind up you know, with the PPP loan. I wound up getting 2 of them, and I got both
Oh,
of
so
Yeah.
them.
that's recent. So that's recently you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah. That was recent. So I
Okay.
wound up getting both of them, and I got forgiven for those loans. So that was free money. And that was another
Shout
thing.
out
You
to
know how
you for
many
Right.
that.
do you know how many black people that I was leveling up? Like, yo, you better get this money, and showing them how to go online, and sitting down with them, making sure they get it. I done funded about at least 10 to 15 black businesses that probably wouldn't got the funding because they was like, I don't understand that. What do you mean they gonna give me free money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Right.
help them with the forgiveness project, and all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, we
And
gotta take
35%
advantage of
of
programs
black
like that.
businesses still didn't get it.
Yeah, and I know
You know, and
y'all.
35% of black businesses didn't get the money.
Yeah, because
Because they
You know
a
what I'm
lot of things
saying?
that they
So
a
shout out
lot
to
of
you
things that
for
they was
the
doing
ones
with it.
that you did. Yeah.
Yeah, they was doing some real underhanded stuff, like especially the banks. You know, like if you was with Chase, Bank of America, like their big clients, they didn't even have to come in there. They would just call them, you're already approved for this amount. And they filled out the paperwork.
Wow.
Because you got to remember, the bank gets a certain percentage of however many loans that they give out. So once they took up like maybe 75% of the loans, then they started giving them to like smaller banks, and you know, different things like that. Then
Right.
it was just a process. But the
yeah,
thing about it is, a lot of people waited to the last minute.
yeah,
You
that was
know,
me.
I got in early. You know, the first one I didn't have a problem with. The second one is where they try to tell me I got a criminal record. I was like, I had a criminal record when you gave me the first loan. What's the difference? You
Right.
know, but I was able to get it, and yeah, that's what we got to do, man. Black people, you know, people think that our liberation is going to come from voting for somebody in office. Nah, our liberation is going to come from being economically in a position to do what we want to do, to build our community and spend money amongst ourselves. You
Indeed.
know, a lot of people don't know. I was just looking up on it, right? Because next week I'm going out of town with some individuals. They're gonna be looking at some land, right? And according to that town's charter, if you have a certain amount of people that's living in that small geographical location,
Get
you
incorporated.
can get it charted as a town and get it incorporated.
Yeah.
Once you get it incorporated, the votes come from amongst the residents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I think it was like 250 or 400 people. You can hire your own mayor, your own police department, control the taxes and the natural resources in your community. There's a town in Georgia. A lot of people was talking about it on the internet, and some people did some research and said it wasn't really worth it. But they had an old bank there, they had a bakery, they had some houses there. It was $1 million, $1 million to buy this town.
So why wasn't it
So
worth it?
a lot of people, they was just saying when you buy stuff like that, you have to sample the soil.
I was about to say,
You gotta see the ground. It's a lot. The water,
the access, water access, and
it's a
highway
lot of
access
testing,
and different things like that.
You have to do. But we got the people, we got the know-how. I know a sister right now that's in the process of buying 400 acres. And she got a team behind her, and that's why I say, man, this generation, what a lot of people got to realize, and I be trying to tell them, is that this is the greatest transfer of wealth that we ever gonna witness.
Yes, the opportunity is here.
Between even here in Atlanta, right? There's more millionaires per capita in Atlanta than any other state.
Black millionaires?
Yeah, black millionaires. But we're the number one in bankruptcy. You know what I mean? So it tells you black people have the money and we have them, but we live beyond our means.
So it's a mindset.
I think it was Nori Muhammad. He said black people spend 95% of their money with white people and then blame white people for 97% of their problems.
Right.
And we got to spend our money onto our own. Marcus Garvey said, buy black, think black, and everything else will work itself out. The blueprint is already there, man. It's just up to us to implement it and to follow it. You talking about Dr. Amos Wilson earlier. I try to read Blueprint to Black Power at least once a year. Like everything that we want to do is already in there. It's no reason to reinvent the wheel.
Facts. That's facts.
That's why I get upset when I hear people say, we need a leader. We need somebody to lead us. No, we just got to listen to the people that already led the charge, wrote it out, spelled it out. All we got to do is follow what, they said do it a long time ago. Had we listened previously, we wouldn't be in the predicament we in now. Our problem is not listening, not following instructions.
And here's the thing about that, right? A lot of those people, they gave their life, their death, and their sacrifice, right? For us to be in a position and power. They spoke truth to power. A lot of them died penniless. They were assassinated. They was ridiculed. Their family was driven from amongst them. But they left us the blueprint. And many of us won't even take advantage of that. We still looking for someone else to come and pick up the mantle.
Yeah.
And
everybody
to us.
I feel like it's insincere a lot of times too, because people always asking like, okay, so what we supposed to do then? Especially when we talking about withholding our vote, you know what I'm saying, not participating because ain't nobody there to represent our interests. It's always okay. So what are we supposed to do then? Like we're supposed to have a one trick answer, you know what I'm saying? And they just want us to tell it, okay, you do this one thing and all our problems are solved. Like nah, the foundation has already been laid. The blueprint has already been laid. You know what I'm saying? Do your history, study the master teachers, and get on code with your people. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to take.
Yeah, and what black people got to realize, right, when it comes up to these presidential elections, right, all politics begin locally, right? Like Andre Dickens here in Atlanta, and what's the other lady name? Felicia Moore, whatever her name is. Like, these are people that I have access to. Like I have access to Andre Dickens, right? He's possibly gonna be the mayor of Atlanta, right? local politicians is what make things happen. You know, if we want to build a park or a community center, or we want this road fixed, or we want to build a school here, we go to our local politicians. We don't go to the Washington, D.C. and ask Biden or Kamala Harris.
Facts.
So if we control the local community and the resources in the local community, we could get more things done.
That's a fact.
So once we start realizing that, and stop shaming people for making a decision not to vote for the lesser of evil, all they got to do is if just say if what was his name, Jared, Trump's son-in-law, if he was the one for president, right?
Kushner, Jared Kushner.
Yeah, Jared Kushner, and the GOP backs him. They're gonna be, Trump 2.0. Oh, we can't have this. He got the same philosophies and opinions of Donald Trump, and they'll just put anybody out there that's less qualified, that's not gonna give black people reparations or tangible, and every single member from whatever his name is, Clyde, I forget his name, is South Carolina, and all those big black politicians from the CBC, they're going to tell you to vote for whatever individual they got on the Democratic ticket. And all the old elderly black people are going to go out in doze, and they're going to vote for them.
Negro Jim Clyburn, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, Jim Clyburn. They're going to use this scare tactic and time again. Listen, if we was able to survive slavery, what the hell 8 years of Donald Trump is going to do to us?
Facts, man.
In fact, we might have been better under Donald Trump than Joe Biden.
Agreed.
It wouldn't have been much better, but what harm have it done? And this is what you ask black people, right? Trump said some real racist shit, did racist shit, you know what I mean? But when he got into office, no one can name one policy that he did that directly impacts black people. Not one policy. Yeah, he was against the LGBT community. Yeah, he was against this. Yeah, he was against that. But he didn't do one policy that directly affects us. In fact, he was trying to go out his way, because every year you got to sign for the funding for the HBCU. He went on and signed it for like the next 4 years. What Joe Biden did. Joe Biden took
defunded
billions of dollars from the HBCUs. And who did he give it to? The Afghan immigrants.
Facts. Not even immigrants, refugees, and people don't even belong on the soil.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, man. They ain't loyal to the soil like, Foundation Black America that paid taxes and fought for this country, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of them have been impacted. You don't know who in their family you killed when you was over there at war with. You could be raising Ben Laden's godchildren and grandchildren and bringing them over here. You think they ain't gonna seek vengeance? Man, listen.
Again, we have who has a 40, 50-year history of anti-black policy, specifically that we can see. You can pinpoint them, you can name it by name. Yet this was the lesser of two evils, or this was the better candidate for black people. It's still mind-boggling to me.
It's just media,
I seen
you
put that post up. Where you put the post up where Joe Biden, he said, I don't want my kids going to school with blacks. It's like something about being in the jungle or something like that. And then do you know, under your post, right, it's flagged by Facebook, by Instagram, saying that it's not factual. There's video audio of him saying that. There's video audio. Huh?
It says that it's missing context. What context do you need?
Yeah.
He said it.
That's crazy.
Hey, Nicely, do you have another tab open?
Let me see. Do I?
If you have another tab open, just close it. That might help a little bit. That might help a little bit. And when you were
I
speaking
just
about
closed it. I did.
when you were speaking about the sister with the 400 acres, was that a sister named Marlena? Somebody wants to know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that was her.
Yeah.
All right, so
Why do you think
let me
it's
just
so
remind
hard
everybody.
to pool our
Let me just
resources?
let me just remind everybody real quick before you answer that. Let me just remind everybody to hit the like button, hit the share button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate everybody engaging in the chat. Go ahead. What was your question, Nicely?
I was asking, why is it so hard for Black people specifically to pool our resources, come together, on a big level? We come together when it's time to vote, right? We can seem to get together in large numbers for that. But when it's time to come together and pool or get together and say, like this sister did, and buy some land together, or,
Come together for a twerk
and I
contest.
would just say, even with our twerk contests or even within your own families, right? You're saying, let's do this so that we can elevate our family so we have something to pass down. It's all kind of excuses. I don't know about that. Like, we're literally scared. But as soon as someone with a non-Black face that you don't even know their background comes to you and say something, like, you would literally give them, a few racks off of, hope, basically, of, flipping that money into something. But we cannot seem to pull together, what I'm saying, to do business with each other, even, support Black businesses on a large scale.
Mm-hmm. I think the problem with that is from the regiments of slavery. They said that trauma is passed down 7 generations. We're not even 7 generations removed from slavery. So there's a lot of that factors into us having mistrust for one another. But here's the other side of that, right? There are certain segments of Black society that is coming together. There was a group of, I think it was 19 families here in Georgia that bought a whole town. And it's called Freedom Town, right? Freedom Town, Georgia. You can look it up. They're naming it Freedom Town. They brought all that land. They're building on it. The brother Tariq Nasheed, shout out to him once again, raised $1 million, building a museum. So there's certain segments of us that are doing the work. There just needs to be more. And then those are the two that I gave as examples and that I know about. But just imagine the ones that we don't know about. Because a lot of times when we do make these pivotal business moves, we have to do them in secrecy until it actually comes to fruition, right? Because initially the brother Tyreek, he was trying to get a spot on Crenshaw. Once he put the video out and word got out, yeah, that's dead. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at them Black investors out there in LA, they was trying to buy Crenshaw Mall, and they outbidded everybody, but they sold it to the Open Enemy. So that goes to show you, right, that money is not always a factor with these people. They realize the image of Black people owning that Crenshaw Mall, the power of image and what that will project to some young person that's standing on Crenshaw Boulevard, and the possibility for him to even think that one day I could own a mall just like him because Black people did it and I'm Black and I can do it. So they'd rather not make whatever money it was for and give it to someone that was underbidded than to give it to Black people. And that's exactly what these people will do. There's a saying, right? Win if you can, cheat if you must. I forgot the last part. Win if you can, cheat if you must. I messed that quote up. But it's a sister. Actually, she's an educator. Barbara Zizamore. She would have this saying about white people where she just talked about how deceptive they are. You know, win if you can, cheat if you must, and I forgot the last part. But this is they get down and this is what they do.
Yeah,
So that's why when you have a situation where black people do come together and we come with that bag and we want to buy something, you know, if they know it's going to benefit us, they rather not sell it. You know, that's why they had certain clauses when they was doing the redlining back in the days, right? They just more sophisticated with it. They had it when they would sell someone property, right? They would tell them that they couldn't sell to anyone black.
The bottom line is they can't control you and oppress you if you don't depend on them for your daily bread.
Absolutely.
So they have to keep you crippled financially, you know what I'm saying, in order to be able to rule over you. And they have to keep you backwards mentally and psychologically, like what Amos Wilson was talking about in the beginning of the show. So all of these things are necessary in order for them to maintain their position of power. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, the legs is weakening. The legs is weakening, and it's only a matter of time before the table is going to fall because we beginning to stand up.
Yeah, white supremacy is on its deathbed, and one of the unique things about it, right, is the decentralization of the currency with the cryptocurrency, right? And I know black people, we are hesitant, you know. There was just a rapper. He just put his whole contract, $1 million advancement. He just put it in cryptocurrency. The mayor of New York, he said he wants his first 3 checks on cryptocurrency. JP Morgan, all these big bankers are investing in it. You think this is a scam? People think that you think they're gonna invest their money in a scam. You know, I'm heavily invested in it, and I showed the other day, you know what I mean, where I pulled out a couple of $1,000. You know, I had a client pay me like $500 and something in cryptocurrency, and I showed the screenshot of it. We have to operate in a different paradigm. We have to be able to operate and see things long before they come. Cryptocurrency is here to stay. You know, now with anything else, don't invest anything you can't stand to lose. You know, and what I tell people, like I started with Shiba, right? I initially started with $173, right? And you know, Shiba went through the roof.
Yeah.
And I was able, I think I pulled about 2,000 of that, you know, my profit out of that, like $2,000 profit. And then when it dipped, you just buy more and more. And more. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But after a while, you playing with the house money. You done already made your profit and took it. And this is why I be trying to tell black people. When I get online and I post, 2 things happen. You get the negative naysayers, and then you get people in my inbox asking me for money. And I be like, damn, I be wanting to teach y'all, man. You know what I mean? And then the thing about it is, everybody want to come. Yo, Rod, I need to come sit with you. I need to sit with me. I start sending them links. I get them on the phone. I ask 2 questions. Once they can't answer it, I'm like, yo, come on. You want somebody to hold your hand.
Yeah.
You know, the way I learn is YouTube University. Like everything is on YouTube. Like if you want to know how to trade in Forex and how to do your risk management, your top to bottom analysis, all of that's explained. You know, and if people would get off social media and stop, you know, putting our mind in trivial things, then they'll be able to come up, find out what's what's popping in the crypto world, what Forex is doing, how the market is moving, and you can get to a bag.
And so I wanna reiterate something that you said, man, because that's very important, especially for people that are getting their feet wet in the crypto world. And we was talking about this earlier at the barbershop, man, because there's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, that is on it for bandwagon reasons, and that's okay too. You know what I'm saying, whatever it takes to get you motivated. But a lot of people are investing their money into the cryptocurrency, and they're just looking at it as a long-term play, which it could be and should be with certain tokens and certain coins, but they just leaving it there. You know what I'm saying? Now, what you said was very important. When Shiba went to the moon, you locked in a certain amount of your profits. You didn't divest out of Shiba altogether,
Nah.
but you locked in a certain amount of your profits, still kept it in the crypto space, and then when the Shiba dipped, you bought it again.
Yeah.
That's how you compound your profits, and that's the only way you're going to be able to excel. Just sitting there waiting and hoping and praying that this thing is going to go to the moon don't make no sense. And then trying to make purchases when you see that it's going to the moon because everybody's talking about it and it's it's making headlines or whatever the case may be. And so now the price is up and you buying it while it's super high. You know what I'm saying? That's backwards, family.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's backwards. It's a simple rule. Just buy low, sell high. And when we say sell, that doesn't mean you have to get completely out of the coin or the token or whatever it is. Just lock in your profits so that when it dips, you're not just on a bungee cord going up and down. You know what I'm saying? You need to compound those interests by locking them in, put it on a stable coin, you know what I'm saying, and wait for that price to dip, or put it into another crypto, you know what I'm saying, that you see that's undervalued right now. You know what I'm saying? Just do your due diligence.
Yeah. I tell people like, yo, the profit that you're gonna get off of Shiba, you should take that and put it into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is more stable, right? And the people that I've been talking to, and conversating with, they saying, yo, Rob, Shiba probably would never reach $1. And guess what? I'm cool with that.
It doesn't have to.
I got 19 million coins. If it reaches 1 cent, I get $190,000. And I started with $175 investment. But if you tell that to people, they'd be like, so for off $175, you think you're gonna get $190,000? Yo, this is the same way.
It's being done every day.
Yo, this is the same way Bitcoin. If I would have invested $175 in Bitcoin, and what was that, 2011? 2009, I'll be a multi-millionaire right now.
Right now.
We probably wouldn't be on here having this conversation.
That's a fact. You be on an island somewhere. You be on Rahiem Shabazz Island somewhere.
Yeah, but people can't grasp that. And see, this is the thing, right? The color barrier is broken. You know what I mean? Like, we can't get financial loans. You know what I mean? They'll give you a loan for a car. Right now, I could walk in any dealership with my credit and be like, yo, I want that Ferrari, I want that, and I'll get approved for it. But trying to get a house is going to be a little harder than that. You know what I mean? Right. So these financial markets, and any time they control the finances, race is always a factor. But when you're in that crypto space, it don't matter.
That's a fact.
It don't matter. So that's where you got to be able to navigate that space, man, and come up, man, and get that bag. And let me tell you something, man. For me, it hasn't been easy. Like, I tried and tested certain strategies, and, in the beginning, like, I was taking a loss, but it wasn't nothing significant, you know what I mean? Because I'm not going to put nothing up that I can't stand to lose, you know what I mean? Like, let me tell you something. If I lose everything that I invested in the stock market, cryptocurrency, I'm still good. I'll be hurt though. I'll be hurt. But it won't be over for me. You know what I mean? Like, but you have to. You know what I mean? I took penitentiary chances. You think I ain't gonna take a chance with this money?
Absolutely.
You got to. Right. Even in the Forex, right? And listen, I'm not giving no trading advice. I'm telling you what I do. So don't take this as no financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, none of that. But even when I do day trading, right? If I go into profit, right, and it goes, soon as I hit profit or I hit, where I entered at, and it's in profit, I set it where I minimize my loss, so that if I do lose on this trade, it's either I break even, because a lot of times I might put it to my break even point, or that I make a little bit of profit. So once you see that your trade go into profit, you better start moving it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, you got to move your stop loss.
Absolutely.
And once you learn that and you calculate it like, okay, I could stand to lose 3% on this trade, of what I'm putting up. As soon as it reaches 3%, you may let it go 5% and then get out of the trade. And with Forex trading, it's psychological. And I learned that the hard way. I heard it 1,000 times, but I learned it the hard way. One day I was trading, and I had an individual that was beside me, and they felt like I was ignoring them, and they was in my ear like, and I just kept losing. I was on like a losing streak because my mind wasn't focused. So when I do get in my bag and I start trading, I don't want nobody around me. And if you're around me, please don't talk to me. You know what I mean? Like, you got to develop a certain mindset, and you have to lock into that. That day, man, I lost a significant amount of money because somebody was in my ear, and I'm not concentrating. And it was just a bad day for me. And I realized, like, yeah, we ain't doing that again.
That's a fact, man.
During trading hours, you can't even come over here.
You got to have your rituals. You got to have your rituals in place.
You're
And
not
you got to have
disturbed.
your protocol in place. You know what I'm saying? That's trading in any market, whether you're doing stocks,
Absolutely.
whether you're doing crypto, whether you're doing Forex or whatever. You got to have your protocol and you got to have your rituals in place. And what the most important thing, which you are talking about, is risk management.
Yeah.
Risk management. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that you have to avoid in order to be profitable is big losses. You
Yeah.
take small losses. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your small wins. You're gonna have your big wins. But long as you can avoid the big losses, then you always will be fine. You'll be good to go. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward, you'll be able to trade another day.
And people don't realize, right? Like, say if I lose 40% of the time, right, that I trade, I'm still up
You
because
still
I'm
up.
winning 60% of the time.
You still up as long as you're managing your risk properly.
Yeah. And once you understand that science and you lock in on that, come on, man. But the main thing now, man, is
I definitely got to get with you, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot you my number on the back end. But the main thing now is, you can get in on one of these coins. Like, I posted. No, as a matter of fact, I didn't post it, right? But I'll send it to you, right? There's a coin, right? And it's a meme coin, but it went up like over 300%. Imagine if you would have put like $1,000 or $2,000 on that coin. 300%. You know what type of profit you? I'm like, man, listen, $2,000-$3,000. I used to spend that in the bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, some of these investments, like $175, that was nothing for me to put that on that Shibu when I first got hip to it. $175 can't get my clothes out of cleaners right now. You know what I mean? So why not invest that and establish some type of generational wealth?
So,
Facts,
But
man.
how much longer we got, Lord? Because my phone, it just said that battery low.
Well, we actually overtime. We winding it down, but
yeah.
I wanted to get into your clothing. I wanted to get into your clothing apparel too, man. Let people know what you
Yeah.
got going on with your clothing line and all that, because the brother's not just a filmmaker. He got some gear for y'all too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's called Wingi Apparel, and Wingi is a Swahili word that means abundance. And our motto is abundance begins in the mind. And if you have it in abundance, it's always good to give, because no one ever went broke from giving. So this is something that I put together. And it was during the time where I think Gucci had did some bullshit,
Yeah,
Prada. It
the
was a time when,
blackface.
it was a time when all these high-end, so-called high-end clothing companies was expressing their vitriol to their black consumers. And I was like, yo, what better way than now than ever to establish our own clothing line, And I like to get fly, and I wanted to have something with a name behind it, with a meaning behind it. So that's when I developed Wingi Apparel, and the reception has been very good. We sell a lot of items, and everything is made in-house. You know what I mean? We do everything in-house. We got our own heat press. We got I own Cutter, and even when I do silk screening, you know, my partner, he has a silk screening business. I go over there and I make the shirts. I don't really like the silk screening, but if someone wants it, I'll go do it for them. So we got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we just added socks to our line. So that's just one
Got
of
the embroidery too, the embroidery and
yeah,
the
we
hats
do
and all that
embroidery
too.
hats, you know, so that's just one of the many business ventures I have.
Yeah.
I also run I have a non-emergency medical transportation business where we take individuals to their dialysis, chemotherapy, physical therapy,
Oh, wow.
doctor's appointments. In fact, you know, that's something I do. I was, you know,
But let
I don't
everybody
even
know what the
not.
website is for
All
the
right.
Wingi Apparel.
Yeah, for the Wingi Apparel is wingiapparel.com. But for the non-emergency medical transportation, I really don't even talk about that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because I would, you know, I got some contracts that I'm negotiating, and you know, some of them contracts might be with the federal government. You know what I mean? And you know, they put my name in and you know, certain things that I say and I stand by, then it may create a problem for me. And I got a lot of white racist supremacists that be trolling my page, and it would be nothing for them to try to send that out. So I really don't talk about that business too much. But that's something I do, you know what I mean? And that's something where I can take the money from that and infuse that back into any project that I want to create, anything that I want to do
Right.
that's going to be beneficial for me and the community I stand behind. And you know what that community is? B1, Black First.
We want,
Black first, baby.
hey, that's right.
Black
That's
first.
right.
But yeah, you in Atlanta, I definitely can get you that Wingi gear. Matter of fact, hold on 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Hit the like button, family. Hit the share button. We coming towards the end of the broadcast tonight, man. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us. You know what I mean? Make sure you do your due diligence as far as, you know, all of the buttons and such, man. You know, get that
Right.
that algorithm popping for the team.
Yeah, this is what I got in the crib. I got some more stuff, but it's at the office.
Okay.
These are the Wingi.
The hoodie.
These are hoodies. Got more flavors. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wear this one tomorrow. Yeah, that's the only problem. You know, having this, I'll be like, yeah, I'll be opening it up. Yeah. So these are lady tees, form fitting for the ladies. You know, Wingi. Yeah, so this is what I got in the crib, but I got more at the office. And then this is we got a new joint that we're doing that I was just doing a little test run on it. I was running around giving out a whole bunch of free items, and everybody was loving it. And I thought they was loving it because it was free, but even people that didn't get it free been hitting me up like, "Yo, I need that."
Dope.
So this
Dope.
is the new drip right here. This is called Different.
Okay.
So
Oh, I saw
be
that.
bold, be different. You know, we different in
that.
everything we do, and that's why everybody
Right.
want to emulate us. So this is the new brand right here.
Okay.
So
Dope.
I'm gonna get y'all some of that. I have to send it to you, sister. But brother, when we link up, you know, yeah, I definitely bless you with some of that.
I gotta get caught up, man.
Oh,
I gotta get
man.
caught up on the documentary and all that, man. Y'all make sure y'all support our brother with the Wingi gear, but also make sure y'all get the Elementary Genocide docu-series and get that information. You know what I'm saying? Watch it with the family, watch it with the kids. If you have any educators in your family that ain't up on this type of information, make sure that they get up on that as well, man. And let everybody know where they can follow you at too, brother.
I'm on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I even got a Snapchat.
You on TikTok? You ain't on
YouTube.
TikTok?
Wingi Apparel's on TikTok. I'm not on
Okay.
TikTok. But
Okay.
yeah, I got a TikTok account too. And everything is at Rahiem Shabazz except the TikTok. That's at Wingi Apparel. Wingi Apparel is also on Facebook. It's also on Instagram as well. And you can go online. We got a 3-set discount if you buy all 3 sets of the documentary. If you want to stream it, you can stream it on Amazon. You can also buy the DVD on Amazon. But I employ everybody to go to the website and order it because Amazon, whoo, they be robbing a brother. For real, for real. In fact,
Right.
after January, it'll still be on Amazon, but it won't be coming from their factory. It'll have to come straight from me because they take too much money. And I've been dealing with Amazon for 6 years right now, and I'm just like, I'm tired of it. But there's a sister that has a streaming platform. It's called Quality TV.
Quality TV. Shout out to Quality TV.
Yeah, and the sister Deshauna over there. She also has it on her platform that you can stream it on, and that's a hell of a platform, man. And
yeah, I'm subscribed to that.
Yeah, we call that the Black Netflix.
Absolutely.
So, brothers and sisters, you definitely have to get on that platform. And early on, I joined forces with the sister, and I had a leap of faith. I didn't know her. I didn't, I just spoke to her on the phone. She told me what she was doing, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll definitely put it on there. You know what I mean? I wasn't, oh, well, Amazon is bigger. This is the white man ice is cold. Right. I said, yo, I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to see what this sister do. The first check I got was for $1,500.
Okay.
That's so that, and that was just streaming, you know what I mean? And this was early on. And the sister has done phenomenal things with that website and with the streaming platform. And she got bigger things to come, so
let us know if you could plug her in, get her on the show, man. You know what I'm saying, to promote the platform as well on the Black Business Showcase.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can do that. Because she be doing a lot of media stuff. Actually, she has a podcast, and I was actually on her podcast one time.
You got a podcast too. Let us know about the podcast.
Oh yeah, my podcast is called Necessary Blackness, and it's for those who have love for Black people and Black culture, and we talk about everything. It's very unapologetic, and it's for Black people.
That's how I like it.
Huh?
She said, "I said just how I like it."
Yeah, and we we don't hold no punches, and that's the unique thing about having these podcasts is that although it's streamed to YouTube and I post clips on Instagram, when they take my Instagram page like they did for 4 months and they shadow ban me for 4 months, you still can tap in with me on my podcast. You know what I mean? Because they can't take that. And you got to be able to navigate this social media. But one of the things I want to say about Quality TV is that this is a platform, right, that's created by a sister that has a love for Black people. And if anybody out there that has a movie and is decent, she'll put that on the platform. You know what I mean? She'll give everybody a chance. I had a couple of people reach out to me, and I passed the information on, and voila, they was on the platform. And if you got something that's portraying us in a positive light, and you want to hit the sister up, reach out to her, or you can reach out to me.
Yes, let that be known.
I'll definitely let that situation happen. We'll talk on the back channel, and I'll reach out to her and then give you her information.
Appreciate that. And so I know you got one last question for the brother Nicely before we get out of here.
Absolutely. I always like to end the show or the last question with what is my question? I just lost my train, y'all.
You just lost your what? Your train of
what is freedom? What freedom mean to you?
What does freedom mean to you?
What does freedom mean to me? That's a good question. Freedom is when you're not relegated to the bottom rung of society. Freedom is also when you're able to determine your destination. Freedom is also where you're not beholden to your open enemy. Freedom is when you're not even a part of the system that your open enemy operates in. And until we have all of those, the list that I just named, and we run the gamut of that, then we're truly not free. We have a glimpse of freedom. We have a glimpse of more freedom than ever before, but we truly not free people. And the only way we're going to get free is separation from our open enemy. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that separation is better than prayer.
Facts.
So we have to separate. Even Martin Luther King, he was an integrationist. Malcolm X, they said he was a separatist, right? But in the end, Martin Luther King said that he feared that he sent his people into a burning house. So in his last days, he knew that integration wasn't for us. If you look at the landmark ruling in the Brown versus Board of Education 1954 ruling, right? 82,000 teachers, black teachers, lost their jobs. So they integrated the students, but not the teachers. So the teachers that was there, that taught us about black pride, black love, black history, was no longer in the classroom. So now we are learning about Queen Elizabeth, and we are speaking the Queen's language. We're not even speaking in our native tongues no more. And we're learning about Christopher Columbus, and we're going to a school named Robert E. Lee, who was a Confederate soldier who wanted to keep slavery. And then you want to know why kids are not interested in school? The goddamn building is named after the oppressor.
Facts.
Right.
So we got to build schools, the Malcolm X Academy, you know what I mean? Mansour Musa's economic financial school. And we have the knowledge, we have the economic power to do it, and we just got to put it together, man. I'm trying to do my part, and I just need all of you to do your part. And when we do this, then we take the enemy off the planet, man. And it doesn't have to be physically; it's mentally, because once they don't exist in your mind physically, they ain't even gonna exist in the world, especially not in my world.
Indeed.
But we getting ready to get into the metaverse. That's a whole new world. That's a whole new podcast. And I'm
Facts.
reading and I'm studying up on it. I'm like, yo, what would a black metaverse look like?
We're gonna have
A
you
meta
back for that.
world.
We gonna have you back for that, because that's definitely, like you said, something that our people need to
Yeah.
understand. We got to be ahead of the curve on that one. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you got to think about it. Facebook, a multi-billion-dollar brand, don't want to even be known as a social media network. They want to be a part of the metaverse. What is the metaverse? Like, I've been looking at it. I heard a couple of people, the virtual reality of the metaverse and how it's going to interact with the physical world, and eventually everybody's going to be part of the metaverse. And I'm like, yo, this is some interesting shit.
Yep.
And what's crazy is they were showing the characters of the metaverse and them shopping and them buying coffee and them doing this and how the whole metaverse is going to operate. And it looks like those Sims, right? You know about the Sims?
Yep.
And, I had my brother, he stayed with me a couple of days. He came to visit me. And, he was on a computer at least 16 hours a day, playing a fucking game with the Sims. He was the DJ, and he playing the crowd, and they had strippers and money. And he was like, he bought virtual money so he could dress them up. And I'm like, this shit don't make no sense to me. But he spent 16 hours playing that. You know what game it is?
Yeah, The Sims.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Sims game.
yeah.
And I'm just like, maybe I'm too old. I can't get with that shit. Now, this is going to become a reality for Facebook.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I'm like, man, even if I'm not, overly attractive to that whole concept, I need to learn about it. And this is
You
where
Absolutely.
still need to know
knowledge
about it,
come in.
right?
And yeah, this is where knowledge come in and not just dismissing it because it doesn't resonate with me. It
Right.
might resonate with everybody else, and I need to know enough about it because if it becomes a reality, I don't want to be left behind and not knowing what the
Mhm.
hell is going on. And that's
Yeah.
like
Right.
individuals that don't know how to operate and navigate on the World Wide Web or know how to
Mhm.
operate a cell phone or something like that. You be out here looking like a clown.
Yeah.
Right.
Facts,
You don't
man.
know what's
Right.
going on. But these young kids, man, they keep me hip to what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be putting my kids on, man, because I try to be ahead of the curve with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm letting my kids know, like, don't be on here just scrolling
Yeah,
aimlessly and doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Pick up the game, soak up the information, get an
absolutely.
understanding of the things that you don't know what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Follow the right people that's dropping the information. You know what I'm saying? Ask questions in the
Mhm.
chat and in the comment section and all of that. Engage. It's a social media platform. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Socialize. Get involved. You know what I mean? The information is here. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And
They
so
want to be on social.
we definitely appreciate you, brother. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Joining us tonight, all the work that you're doing, that you've been
Thank you,
Yeah.
putting in
man.
out here.
I
You know what I'm saying?
appreciate you for having me on your platform, man. And my closing words, man, like the brother was saying, man, don't just be on social media, because at the end of the day, it's a media. What's your social currency look like? How are you gonna
Right.
take the influence that you do have on social media and turn that into a social currency?
Absolutely.
It could be done. People are doing it. I'm doing it to a degree, but I'm about to elevate and upscale this thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Absolutely. And we
sir.
will
Yes,
be
sir.
here to support you in all
Thank
your
you.
endeavors. Know that we will be here to
All right,
support everything
and
you do.
hit me,
So
man.
please reach out.
I'm gonna send you one of these, man. And
I'm gonna pull up on
man,
you. I'm gonna pull up on you and come
all
get
right.
mine.
I'm in the West End.
You on the West End? Okay, okay.
Yeah, I be in the West End a lot, man. I'm there, and then I got a
I did a show out
situation
there not
out
too
in
long ago.
Conyers, huh?
Did a show out there not too long ago at it was a black museum that they got over there. They had the RBG Fest. Shout out to my
Oh,
dude, Knowledge Born Law was just in the chat. I don't know if he's still here.
oh yeah,
Now,
yeah. That's the guard right there. That's the guard
yeah,
right there. You talking about at the Griot Museum?
yeah.
The RBG Festival. That was with Knowledge Born and what's
The
Tutmos?
Tutmos, yeah, the
Yeah.
sister, honeysuckle
Oh
something,
yeah. Those are my
honeysuckle moon.
peoples. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, those are my
that,
peoples. Knowledge Born. He be coming. He be tapping in with me when he be coming through the A.
that's indeed,
Yeah.
that's the God. So yeah, family, that does it for this episode of Sincere Love the Godcast and the Black Business Showcase. Another great one in the books. Appreciate y'all tuning in with us. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. As always, we always got to remind y'all to do that. You know what I'm saying? And like we
Mhm.
always say, we are not the master teachers, family. We are only the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new black media.
And make sure you tune in this Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another great episode of the Sincere Love the Godcast as we take you black to the future.
Absolutely. Peace, family. Love and light.
Peace.
Thank you.